Hello my good ones. New posters and even preview footage from Season 6 are finally coming out. You've probably all seen this unofficial drain by now. Some of you are probably outraged by the quality of the graphics, but I hasten to reassure you that this is not the final processing. In fact, it is an early draining of sketches. Perhaps these shots are not from the first episodes of the 6th season, but a new special episode about London. It is known that in the 6th season there will be 26 episodes, 2 dilogies of episodes and 1 special. If someone does not understand the word dilogy, I will decipher it. This is the breakdown of 1 episode into 2, connected by 1 plot. So, Layla Rossi, aka Cerise, received the Butterfly Stone and became the new villainous Chrysalis. The superhero team will have to grow up to develop their superpowers and fight new more powerful villains who are backed by a more cunning and intelligent villain than the Monarch. Ladybug and Cat Noir themselves will have to become stronger and discover new powers to resist her. Every superhero this season will grow up and learn how to use superpowers without limits in their own episode. Ladybug and Cat Noir will unlock new superpowers and become even stronger. Each of the superheroes will receive their own Kwagatama. Let me remind you that Tiki and Plag handed them to their owners. Maybe they will finally reveal to us the secret of Mylene April's Kwagatama, which she constantly wears around her neck. Perhaps she inherited this Kwagatama, but then it means that her relatives were previously superheroes. In the new season, Ladybug will distribute magical elixirs to superheroes for new transformations. Finally, we will learn the properties of some unknown potions, such as fire power, to which a separate episode will be devoted. Characters who appeared earlier but were not akumatized will naturally be akumatized this season. But it will not do without those who have already been previously akumatized, but this time they are akumatized into new villains and new variations of old villains. Nasty Chloe will return this season and play an important role in 3 episodes. It has already been announced that Lila's identity as Chrysalis will be revealed this season, but she will not be defeated and will be the main villain in 2 more seasons and several more cycles. Cat Noir is using his Kwagatama this season, and we will most likely also get to know the former owners of the Noir Ring. Perhaps the most shocking news is that one of the superheroes will leave Ladybug's team and join Chrysalis. All members of the superhero team will play the main roles in some episodes. In other words, a separate series will be released about each of them. Finally, we will learn a little more about them, what they are thinking about, their experiences and their families. The main intrigue remains hints about the possible akumatization of Marinette. Let me remind you that she had previously been subjected to akumatization and it was only by chance or her friends that she did not turn into a supervillain. This season will not be devoted to Marinette alone as it was before. I think it's a good idea, because watching Marinette's endless suffering and her confused feelings is a little boring. The episodes in this season are not named after akumatized villains, sentimonstrums, or concepts as they were in previous seasons, but after specific characters and things. Thomas Struck called this season the beginning of the end of the animated series, although to be honest, even he himself cannot say for sure, because if the ratings of the animated series are as high as before, then the story of superheroes will continue for quite a long time. Many people wonder why the gaps between seasons used to be smaller, and why is the 6th season taking so long to make. Let's try to figure it out together, collecting scraps of information on this matter. The main fact is that the first 5 seasons were one story, the central figure of which was probably Emily, because it was because of the tragedy that everything began with her. Gabriel literally went crazy with grief and got to the point where he himself lost the meaning of the original desire. But he had more than one chance to fix everything, and without tragic consequences, but his pride did not allow him to think with a cold head, and the confrontation with Ladybug clouded his consciousness. Season 5 has completed the story arc and the new 6th season will be the beginning of a new story, where Lila Rossi, aka Cerise, became the main supervillain. The 3D models of the characters will change slightly, hairstyles and clothes will change, some studios will no longer work on the series, so the production will be less complicated. In other words, the animation will be using a new engine. A new poster of Lady Баг with her new design was also posted on the website. The creators have confirmed that the Cat Noir will also receive a new design. In February, Thomas Struck mentioned in a Twitter reply that after Tomo Tsuruga and Cerise's third mother, 2 more disabled characters will appear in the 6th season, which were created in collaboration with the relevant people. Let's go back to what we saw in the merged frames and try to analyze it. Since the finale of the 5th season came out rather crumpled, we will finally be shown some details of the end of the 5th season, from which some details will be clear. As we remember, there are enough such dark holes that have given rise to many questions and new theories. For example, how exactly Layla managed to steal a butterfly talisman that fell into the water. We will be shown how Adrian and Kagami were rescued. Seeing them hugging, Ladybug was clearly sad. I hope they will show us how she will find the monarch's lair and the details of the technology for returning the original form of the Wonder Stones. This shot shows Natalie crying and hugging Bug Noir, against the background of an empty capsule where Emily was lying. Maybe she will point out the monarch's lair and confess to what she did. Finally, the ending and details of Gabriel's wish will become clearer to us. After all, many still believe that it was Emily we saw by the pool next to Natalie. How do you like this character? Is he a superhero or a supervillain? A fully covered face makes it impossible for us to distinguish his gender, but the mark on his forehead tells us about his abilities. Perhaps he will travel through time like a time stagger. It was not for nothing that Rabbit was shown to us, and she intervenes only as a last resort, namely when there is no other way to save the world. And intervening over time, this is exactly the case where she is obliged to take a direct part in order to prevent a catastrophe. Well, in the lair of Chrysalis, at first glance it looks natural, but if you look closely, it seems that he is in some kind of soap or air bubble, and the background distorted along the contour gives it away. Despite the fact that in the Season 5 finale, we finally saw Adrian and Marinette kiss, they didn't seem to have a relationship. It is possible that this is due to the fact that they still cannot reveal their secrets of identity to each other. Or maybe after Marinette saw Adrian hug Kagami, she doubted Adrian's feelings. In principle, Adrian himself can get confused in his feelings, as it was before. In these shots, we see Marinette watching through binoculars as Adrian who is jogging and some girl. Could it be Kagami? But it may well turn out to be Cerise, who is trying to get closer to Adrian in this way, under the guise of a new student who allegedly just moved to Paris. Previously, there were such hints that Cerise would get closer to everyone and, strangely enough, no one would recognize her. As they say, keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. The new supervillain who has appeared is not like the characters we know. Her medal on her chest with a ribbon in the colors of the flag of Paris perhaps tells us that she can be any Olympic champion who was offended or underestimated somewhere. Perhaps this is a completely new character, which I think will be quite a few in other episodes. Adrian's sense of origin is now known to several people, including Marinette. At the moment of the conversation with Plug, a part of Adrian's hand is visible, on which crème de vanilla rings are visible. Now no one controls him, and he really feels free. By the way, perhaps this is one of the reasons that Marinette and Adrian are not together. After all, Marinette now knows that he is not quite human, and this fact may well interfere with their relationship. At the end, Madame Tsuruga's smile was shown, which clearly does not have glasses. It looks like the secret about her alleged blindness will be revealed. We were presented with several posters from which it can be seen how the costumes of superheroes have changed, and also on one of them a new supervillain was highlighted, who seems to be in the lair of the monarch. The Kwamis locked in capsules against his background prove this. But how this can be is not yet clear. Could this be another time traveler? The preliminary premiere date is set for August 31, 2024, but as we already remember, these dates may be postponed. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell. Goodbye, my good ones.